move. It just shows you that there's such a fine difference between success and failure, even in training in this event.
Absolutely, and I think that's not just parallel bars, but I think across the board of all apparatus, the scope and the margins for error are so minuscule, and it just shows just perhaps a slight lack of concentration, perhaps performing skills when you're slightly more fatigued. Then obviously the chance of injury always sort of increases slightly. So we have to be aware of that as gymnasts. You have to make sure that you train properly, you have to make sure you put in the precautions to try and avoid any sort of injuries that might happen from sort of those incidents that you don't really want occurring before a major championships.
Okay, well there is our start list, and it's Sam Michalak of America who goes once again to try and get that elusive individual medal in a World Championship. He's been 4th in high bar in the 2013 Worlds and 4th in the high bar at the Games in Rio, and he dropped from 3rd to 5th in the all-around championship. He's got a couple more chances, and I think, Beth, so many people would love to see this big American finally get his reward.
Yeah, I mean, to be in so many finals and then always just at the last second makes a small error, so he'll be wanting to do that. Obviously we know he's still got the high bar final today, which probably more chances to make that a medal, but who knows. He's just doing a little bit of a warm-up. You can see the coaches making sure that the chalk is all ready for him. Every gymnast likes it slightly different.
Okay, here we go. It's the parallel bars final. Christian is on his way up to join Craig and Alison in the commentary box. Budge up, guys.
We've made a bit of room. He's on his way. Well, Sam Michalak, and he has just tried and tried, Craig, hasn't he? These World Championships even. 4th in the team, missed out on the medal, 5th in the all-around, 4th on the pommels yesterday, 7th on the floor. Now, it would be almost too simplistic to say this bars final is a shootout between Oleg Vanayev, the Olympic champion, and Zhu Jingwang, the world champion, because, of course, there's Arta Dalaloyan up there as well. Does Michalak have the sort of routine that can challenge?
Well, he improved in the all-around competition. However, I think his biggest opportunity this afternoon is on the high bar. Finished in silver medal, but it just goes to prove how good an all-round gymnast he is with so many apparatus finals.
Let's see how he goes. First gymnast out of 8 to go in the parallel bars final.
Well, this routine's full of originality. Settles himself in. Heely turn. Under somersault there, locking out with straight arms in the half turn. And again, under somersault. That's nice. Height and flighted, the Suarez. Into the straddle front somersault. It goes into the long hand swing. Very difficult skill. And again, on the Bavzar. So gymnasts must perform elements above and below the rails. Elements in upper arm. And obviously show the handstand position. Big dismount, double front with a half turn. Oh, I don't think he could have done that any better.
Very nice indeed from Sam Michalak. Terrific way to get this final underway. We've got so used to seeing that beaming smile on his face. Just how much wider could it get if he could come away with a medal?
Well, if it's for determination and commitment, I think he certainly deserves one for this World Championships, because we've seen a real improvement in his work. Look at the height there above the bars. That's the Bavzar skill. Into the Tippelt. Straight into the handstand. He's got a good shape in gymnastics. He looks quite a tall gymnast. This is the big dismount. What a lot of gymnasts are favouring now. The double front somersault. Spots the landing. There you can see the delight. Great start. Michalak.
Now, Christian has joined us in the commentary box. He's such a popular gymnast as well, isn't he, Michalak? And everyone would be so delighted if he could get on the podium.
Oh, definitely. I think you just watch his reaction. He's always got that smile on his face. It's always a pleasure to be around and competing against. So I think he just gives off that good feeling vibe.
An 8.833 for execution, 15.233. He's 2/10 up on the score he managed in qualifying. So everyone else knows now the benchmark and what they have to beat. We've certainly seen some massive parallel bars scores. You were talking about them in the studio, and Zhu Jingwang, in particular of China, the reigning world champion, hitting the 16 mark, as he did in the team final. But next up is Lin Xiaopan of China, another former world champion. He topped the tree when he was just 18 years old back in 2013. So a competitor that you've been used to moving around the floor with, Christian.
Absolutely. Quite a well-known gymnast now. Been on the international scene for quite a few years.
So second gymnast up on the parallel bars.
You can see all the chalk at the bottom of the parallel bars where the gymnast and coach make those final preparations and adjustments to the bars. Make sure the grip is what they need. And there's the Honma skill swing handstand. Well caught there with the straight arms, no hesitation. Into the front uprise double back. Knees jammed together on that skill. And there's the undersumi half turn, hits the handstand again. Into the undersumi. Very clean work here. Beautifully into the long swing Damodaff. And into the straddle front somersault. Choosing to catch it on the hands rather than the upper arms. And there's the popular Bavsar skill. Probably would be the one skill that every single gymnast in this final will end up choosing to compete. There's the one arm turn, the Healy. Hasn't gave the judges any room for errors so far. And tiniest hop on landings. That was absolutely stunning routine there from Lin Xiaopan.
Well. The bar being set high, Craig, with that performance.
Certainly was. I think that as a routine it sort of got better as it went along. For me, that front uprise double back skill at the start, it didn't have the same height and time to kick out as some that we'll see. And parallel bars has become a real piece of apparatus over the past couple of years, which has really sort of developed. There you can see the starting skill, the front somersault known as the Honma. And I like this, the front somersault, instead of catching in support, actually catches into the swing underneath the bars. And instead of catching in support, swings through there. If you stay in support, it's the Tipelt. And if you're going to long hang swing, the Bavsar. And quite unusual now, the dismount, the double pike back. That used to be a dismount common back in the day, but lots of gymnasts now opt for the double front half turn. What was your dismount, Christian, of choice?
It was the double pike. I wasn't quite good enough on the parallel bars to do the double front, or even the double front with a half turn. So I stuck to what I could do best, and just 2 somersaults in the pike position. That was the highlight of my P-bar routine.
Got to play to your strengths, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Lin Xiaopan, 15.2. Not enough to overtake Sam Mikulak. He can afford one of those familiar smiles. Long way to go, though, in this final. But 15.233 is the score to beat so far. Our next gymnast is from Colombia, Yosimar Orlando Galvo Moreno. Possibly my favourite name in the competition. He's been around a while. This is 7th World Championships. First time in a parallel bars final, though. Let's see what he's got. Qualified in 4th. So Phil has got something in the locker to try and challenge.
And a 6.5 difficulty. He posted in qualification. Plenty of height. And the opening skill. And that's difficult. Under somersault to 1 bar, into the Healy turn. So connecting that will give him big difficulty. And bonus points. Full turn on 1 arm, Damodaff. Then the Bavsar skill. Plenty of height and flight above the bar. Travel back into the middle, long swing Damodaff. Into the Tipelt. Big dismount, double front with a half turn. These gymnasts do like those double front dismounts. solid routine. Mikulak looking slightly pensive there.
Has he got good reason to worry, Christian?
Well, I think anybody in this P-bar routine, if they can keep knocking out the routines the way they are, then I think he's going to be pretty anxious and heart rate elevated by the end of this final. But no, that was a very, very clean routine. Again, we're sort of talking here minuscule errors that the judges look for, and there you could see just a slight one where the toes crossed over. Whether the judges picked that up at their angles, debatable. For me, not quite as clean as Sam and Lin Xiaopan. Maybe the score might reflect that. I do like this skill though, the long swing, Diamondov locks out into the handstand and then immediately taking it into the tip out. You can see the grimacing on the face as he winds up for the dismount. Knees locked together and then lands it as well. No movements, knees jammed together, ankles jammed together, nothing to give away to the judges there. Fantastic routine.
Certainly the audience are pleased with that performance, and actually the audience has been quite poor in this championship. It looks like as the competition's gone on, more and more people have got into the venue, which is always better for the gymnasts.
It puts him into the bronze medal position again. Sam Mikulak leading the way, 15.033 for that routine. We've had 3 gymnasts, 3 good, strong routines so far. Now can David Belyavsky of Russia put on a score to challenge? Olympic bronze medalist in 2016, world bronze medalist last time out. But it's Sam Mikulak of America who's laid down the marker here.
Definitely David's stronger piece of apparatus. Starts with the undersumi. Into the front uprise Diamondov. The front uprise stood so difficult to perform those skills. There goes into the Bavsa. Changes direction to work back along the parallel bars. Into the Honma skill. That's the skill that most gymnasts opt to start with. There was a slight hand movement there. Another slight hand movement. There's a Stutz to one rail. And back to the top again. Just giving away a few deductions here to the judges. Not quite as clean as what I have seen him done in previous competitions. But there's the dismount, done front with a half turn. Just the tiniest a hop on landing. Overall, not too bad at all.
Well, he's had a few disappointments, Craig, hasn't he, in this championship so far. Russia were gutted to miss out on the gold in the team competition. He made the pommel horse final, but ended up in 7th with a big mistake at the start of his routine. So he's got through clear here.
He has, but as Christian picked up, there are a few little hand wobbles. That should have gone into handstand, which forced him to go into the second skill a little bit too soon. But every time you take a step with the hands, it's 0.1 forwards, 0.1 back. He did that twice in the routine, so that's 4/10. And he has really been the backbone of the Russian team. And you could see, you know, how disappointed he was with the team final, because I think probably that was the one time that he could have been with the team that actually took the world title. So, yeah, I just think he's not been as sharp as we've seen him in the past in these championships. And you can see the look on his face. He doesn't look as happy as normal, Christian.
Yeah, I think you kind of alluded to it. It's not quite as polished these championships as we have seen him.
And it's only good enough for 4th with 14.633. So unable to replicate the 15+ score that he managed in qualifying. So, yeah, the big disappointment in the team event. Hasn't quite shone as much as he would have liked to in the 2 individual finals that he's made in apparatus. 2 times a European champion on this apparatus. Sorry, 1 time. 2016 he was the European parallel bars champion. But this man, Oleg Vanayev of Ukraine, is the reigning Olympic champion. 2014 world champion. We have seen his body basically was put back together in hospital a little while ago. He's competing again here. And looking to see if he can go for gold.
He'll be chasing his first medal in this World Championships. He has a real dominance on this piece of apparatus. Great control there. Under somersault, handstand on one bar. Immediately Healy turn. And again, the Healy turn out of the three-quarter Diamondov. And the height at which he gets on these moves, the Tippelt there. And again. Back in the day, he used to get extra points for virtuosity. He certainly is a virtuoso performer on this piece of apparatus. The studs to one rail, up start lift to handstand. Big dismount to go, double front with a half turn, sticks to landing. Well, that's the Vanayev we're used to seeing.
Huge cheers in the arena. You can just see how popular a gymnast he is, how much that routine was appreciated from somebody who has not been off the world podium ever since he took gold in 2014, silvers in 2015 and 17 with that Olympic gold in between. Now, is that good enough to win in that world gold back again?
I think that he will go back into the medal positions with this routine. And to be honest, that's probably as good a routine I've seen him do for, well, as long as I can remember, really. And to the naked eye, I actually think he made a slight mistake in this routine, but covered it up by coming down onto the one rail. So this here, normally he goes back into the two rails, but instead he's had to come down the other way, straddle back up to handstand, which is obviously sapping a little bit more energy. But it just shows the pedigree of what he's on this apparatus. He managed to cover up a mistake, and the judges wouldn't really be taking too many errors or deductions with that skill. So very, very good job there by Oleg.
Well, that really is sort of the mark of a champion, isn't it? If something goes wrong, that you're able to adapt, to think quickly in the spur of the moment, and either cover it up or just change your routine slightly to still make it work.
It certainly is.
Oh, it is good enough for top spot. Oleg Vanayev, the champion, goes into the gold medal position. That's a huge score for him. Delight for Vanayev and Ukraine. 3 gymnasts still to come. So all about now whether that score can be beaten or not. So Oleg Vanayev of Ukraine, 15.591, above Sam Mikulak, chasing that first major medal. And then Lin Xiaopan of China in the bronze medal position. Well, fabulous routine from Vanayev. Really showing all his class and pedigree. I think that's a great word to use. Somebody who's won so many medals across both World Olympics and Europeans as well.
And to think he's scored a 16 with that routine, I just wonder where they take the deductions.
Now, Zhu Xingwan, the reigning world champion, he doesn't want to give his crown away, has scored a whopping 16 on parallel bars at this championships in the team final. All eyes on him.
Well, if there is someone to top Oleg, this is certainly the gymnast to do it. Beautifully into the McCuts there from the upper arm position. Such difficult skills. You can see just how he locks out in handstand. Beautiful handstand position each time, finishing every skill banging handstand. Lots of height on the long swing. And there's an underswing half turn, slight back bend there just to readjust. But then straight into the underswing, no error there. Plenty of height on the straddle front. This really is just incredible gymnastics on the parallel bars. And again, the Bavsar. There's the Tippelt. It doesn't even flutter the toes. They're pointed, locked out the whole way through this routine. Incredible. Just the dismount to go. Front up rise into the double front, half turn, nails the landing. That surely has to take that top spot.
Oh, that looked like a bundle of pure class, Craig.
Well, I'm going to say that is the most stylish routine of the World Championships. I mean, just the way he floated around the bars and made it look so easy. Even to the final skill, we see the double front performed. Gymnasts split the legs a little bit to gain rotation, knees locked together. As Christian said, the height on some of the skills above the bar and the control, all the elements from one bar. He was locked out totally in handstand. I mean, this is a huge skill. The front up rise, 3/4 Diamond-off, Healy turnout, known as the McCuts, not even a shuffle in the hands. And again, look at the height there. Straddle front somersault through into the long hang. They posted the only 16 of the competition in the all-around, and probably I think the only 16 we're going to see in this apparatus final. I don't know where the judges took anything off. I mean, look at that, knees and feet together.
You'd like to think that judges will be pretty quick at giving this score out. As you said, there wasn't a lot to take away.
And even the gymnast there showing mass appreciation. I mean, he is just in a different league on the parallel bars.
I think they're in awe. The reigning world champion. I think all of them looking knew that that was an outstanding score. That is massive. 9.433 on execution for a start value of 7. Well, that's got to be deserving of the gold medal. You can't even imagine anyone being able to overtake it. That was outstanding.
Oh, 6.6 he had in qualification. He put it up to a 7, and we look at that execution of 9.433. I mean, they've given out an award for elegance, but he didn't get it, but in my mind he should have. That was superb.
Extraordinary from Zhu Jingwan. 2 more gymnasts to go, so we're going to see Lukas Dalser of Germany. He qualified last for this particular final, but did take a silver medal on the Europeans last year in parallel bars. Let's see how he goes.
Well, Germany have some pedigree on this piece of apparatus. Marcel Neuyen picked up an Olympic silver medal in 2012. But this routine has got lots of originality. Using the upper arm to get bonus in the Diamond-off and the upper arm skills. Oh, I was just about to say good control there. As he put his arm back, dipped the hips, lost momentum. Good swinging in the upper arm position. Double front with the half turn. Well, it's very difficult to follow up a routine like that from Zhu Jingyan of China. And that little error, I think, will probably keep him in that 8th spot.
Yeah, it sort of feels that anything else to come is going to be a little bit more low-key somehow, Christian, doesn't it, after we saw that routine from...
Yeah, I think he did pretty well, actually, initially, to probably block out the score, block out the noise, block out just the sheer appreciation from everybody around those parallel bars, and just, yeah, in awe of the routine they'd just seen. And he did start off very, very well, actually. He made a similar mistake, actually, in the all-around competition on his Healy turns. We might see it again in a minute now where the mistake is. But prior to that, the routine was actually very, very clean. You could see there didn't quite get his left hand in the catching position he needed. Obviously, coming down with that sort of weight as well, then you have to be so strong and so precise with your hand placements. Just wasn't quite good enough to swing straight away into handstand. And that's the dismount, the ever popular double front with the half turn.
I think we've only seen one double pipe back dismount in this final, I think. So it just proves how parallel bars as dismounts are going in a different direction.
13.7 then. 7th for Dalser with just 1 gymnast to go. And in the context of this final then, that man surely will take away the gold. But it's a matter of sorting out the medals, and the last gymnast can certainly have a say about that. These are the standings as we have it. Zhu Jingwan with that outstanding, just staggering 16.433. Oleg Vernayev in the silver medal position, and Sam Mikulak in bronze. But looking now at the fact that we have Artur Dalaloyan of Russia about to go last, will Sam Mikulak once again be pushed out of the medals? This man has it in him to do a 15.5. He's already won 2 golds and 2 silvers at these World Championships. It's Artur Dalaloyan of Russia.
Well, a lot more secure on the start there. That was the error in the team final. but no problem. Really does work the bars well. There, the very popular Bavzar. High into the straddle front somersault. This really is a battle for the silver medal. Good control on the Healy turn. Plenty of height and flight in the front somersault. You can hear him, big breath for the final dismount. Double front with the half turn. Well, it'd probably be good enough to get a medal, but what colour, we'll see. Mikulak will have to wait.
Drama and tension again. I can barely handle it but for the American. But Dalaloyan, he's the reigning European parallel bars champion. Actually did way better in the team final on this, sorry, in the all-around final on this apparatus than he did in qualifying. He really upped his game and came away with that big 15.566.
This is the skill at the start, the clear circle, shoot, half turn, and in the team final, he fell off and lost a full mark, and one of the reasons why the the Russians lost the team title, and since then he's definitely made sure that he's completed that skill.
Well, that's really the only foot he's put wrong through the entire World Championships, isn't it, in that team final, because since then, as I said, coming away with the all-around gold on the floor as well. We've seen him already today win vault silver. He's still got the high bar final to come. And just almost the story of the championships. He's 22-year-old. Will this bag him another medal?
2 golds, 2 silvers.
Could be medal number 5.
Could well be.
He takes the bronze, 15.366. The world champion is Zhu Jingwan of China. Medal number 5 in these worlds for that man, Artur Dalaloyan. And the reigning champion holds on to his crown. A massive, massive score. Sam Mikulak, you feel for him once more. Another final, and it's another 4th place. You can just barely believe it, Craig, for him.
I cannot believe it. He must be thinking, what do I need to do to get a medal? Let's hope on the last piece of apparatus, high bar, where he qualified 2nd, he picks up that elusive medal, because I'm sure everybody in there will be willing him to win one.
Well, Zhu Jingwan successfully defending his title, and it means China have now had the gold in the World Parallel Bars for the last 3 World Championships. Artur Dalaloyan, bronze. Oleg Vernayev, the Olympic champion, takes the silver here. Zhu Jingwan with the gold, and Mikulak missing out once again. But China showing all their strength, Craig, in parallel bars.
They certainly did, and for me, that was the best routine of the championships that have we seen. Fantastic.
It was utterly, utterly mesmerising, was it not? A fantastic, almost a full mark ahead for Zhu Jingwan of China. Really